Which one? Ah, Last War. Yeah. Yeah, I wanted to download the dumb goofy game. That was what I was going for. I was going for a game just to play it for a little bit while I was at my folks, just for a couple of weeks and probably uninstall after. That was the whole idea. It was not supposed to. Yeah. Yep. Same, same. I think most of us. Yeah. So I've never played it. I've made fun of my brother who played it. Oh, like I think these are just mods, or it's called yeah, yeah. Oh, okay. Um, Discord channel. Yeah, it just the link changed, but it's not a big problem. Yeah, worked. Yeah, and what do I have on the timer, right? So I'll have the agenda up now. Hold on, let's see how to switch. Okay, so this should display the agenda in a couple of seconds, I think. It shows like as if I know what I'm doing. Hold on. Good, good, good. Hold on. How do I turn off the streamer mode thing? It's annoying. Um, Streamer mode off. Hold on. Let's put. So you see the agenda, yeah? Sounds good. uh, I see. Okay. I don't know why it set up a delay, but it's fine. I set up no delay, but I think it's a kind of maybe mandatory delay. True, true, true. Yeah, I think it just. All right, nice, nice. Oops. Oh, start any second. Okay, so I'll stick to the agenda. We'll let it be more structured stream this time. First of all, hello everyone. I'm sure it will pick up a bit more as we go. So I wanted to start today a bit more organized, and Mog, please help me be organized. Um, thank you, thank you. So I just wanted to start by actually having a proper introduction on the fourth workshop. So kind of let's start from the beginning where we should have started, or I should have started. Um, the whole idea of the workshop is this just started very casually. Um, the whole idea was to exchange some tips and tricks and guides and stuff like that. Everybody's at different stage in the game. Some are like knowledgeable, some are just casual who wants to get better, some actually want some more complex strats. And the game, since it's kind of unbalanced, and I think they do that on purpose to make it more complex, so you can just fix that problem with buying more, paying more. But there is actually like a structured reason about it. Like, so even though they're making it more complex and unbalanced, but even the unbalance aspect of it has can still be optimized, if that makes sense. So even though, like, yeah, the attack trait, for example, is not equal to the HP equivalent, and it's not equal to the defense equivalent. However, like, because it's all based on math, right? And just, yeah, there is a small RNG aspect, but for the most part, you can dissect the game. For the most part, you can just optimize, and there is a right answer, wrong answer in most situations. Um, there is something that can give you the best value for what you're putting in. And what you're putting in can be time, like when you're playing the zombie event, for example. What do you want to prioritize? Or it can be, okay, let's say I want to put $100 a week. Where do I put it? No, you're not gonna get the same value from drone compared to troops compared to hero. And I think this is the main idea of the workshop, is just seeing where the value is, and however time you put in or money, just put it where you get the max value. I think that's the whole idea of the workshop, and it's just not about me speaking about stuff. It's anybody who has anything to present can present it. And if you're shy or you have ideas or you have nice guides and you don't want to present them, then you can give it to us and we can present them for you, and we'll give you credit, of course. So it's either or, like anything. Like you can disagree with me, you can show me an idea. Like I don't know, like I've checked something about Gorilla, for example, and I made some calculations that told me that this one, which is the Overlord armor, is better than the Brutal Roar. But some of my friends made more calculations and checked more scenarios and tested it, and I was actually wrong. It was the other way around. This one, which is level 19 now, because I fixed it, um, is better than this one, and then that would come in third place and fourth place. So stuff like that. This is just a simple example. Okay, so I think this is a short introduction to what the workshop is about. So let me tell you like what's the plan going forward. Last stream, which was actually 2 weeks ago, because last week we had some technical difficulties. We started late, and many would have had left already. So kind of this one is the stream that was supposed to be last week. So anyways, this is part 2 of the introduction. And what do I mean by introduction or general tips part 2 is I'm gonna do a quick overview of some things, but I'm not gonna go into a lot of details. Starting next week, I'll check what you guys want to focus on in order, and then we're gonna dissect every single major aspect of the game. For example, we're gonna have a, like last week or 2 weeks ago, we did a quick dive on what do you focus on in drone, how to optimize survivors, We did a quick overview of how to check the stats in the base, for example, what buildings to prioritize, stuff like that. So today I'm doing kind of the rest. Um, I'm doing the rest of it. Chuckles is asking what's the cost for oil for 35. Let's see. 35. It needs 11.9 million. Okay, so yeah. Oh, thank you. Add 5% to that. So probably 12 million, I guess. Yeah, I actually have a better one, but the problem is I'll have to log in to my phone. But actually, hold on. I'll send it to you on Discord. So I did this for 34 to 35 to make people feel bad about it. Not feel bad, but just like see how insane it is. I'll send it to you, Mog, on private, then I'll pull it from the stream. Wait, where it is. So the cost actually from 34 to 35 is a bit insane, considering the fact that I factored in the reduction from the capital buff and also from the buffs I have in base, and that would go to on construction cost. You can reduce it by tech, as in research tech. Yeah, but I have all my research maxed out in terms of speeding up construction. Also, I have pyramid level 3, and this counts for, oh, engineer, yes, but you would not get win-win then. But yeah, engineer will give you a bit more reduction, but like 34. No, 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 go ahead. Continue. True. Oh, and I'll tell you what, and also the alliance makes a difference because we don't have this one maxed out. Or would this not account? No, this would not account. This is research. So like the alliance center that reduces the cost of research. There might be another one for construction, but this is quick construction. This is for gear. This is for gear as well. Okay, this is weird. This is weird because we have it maxed out. So 11.2. Actually, I don't know how to get it down further. Maybe there's something in engineer because I'm already there. Maybe there's something in engineer that reduces cost. Oh, I think there is. There is one that reduces 5%. Hold on. Maybe there's two of them as well. Yeah, reduce the cost for building construction. So this goes to 5%. And what else? But that's only 5. Yeah, but like this is just for construction, right? Because he's asking about a headquarter building going up. So I don't know, is this repeated? It's only once though. So technically I have it because I have win-win. Because win-win you cannot doesn't give you a buff, it only gives your teammate. So I don't know, to be honest, I don't know how he got it to 11.2. I'm sure I'm missing something. But the number he's getting is lower than mine though. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, Cluckles, as you said, like, yeah, there is 5%, but then win-win negates that. So I'm surprised it's 11.2. It's either that person may be mistaken and it's like 12.2 maybe, or we're missing something. Maybe there's something in survivors, or I really don't know. I really don't know. I'm drawing in blank here to know how to reduce it further. But either way, it's a bit of a crazy amount if you see what you need from 34 to 35. The total will go for 9.5 billion iron, 12.5 bread, 4 in gold, 28 million roughly in oil, and for 113 days. So it will be a while for me before I reach 35, even though I've finished a few buildings. But yeah, the biggest challenge for me is oil. I have 1 million, and the cheapest thing I can build is barracks to 34, and that requires 1.4. So as soon as, yeah, as, oh, all right, JMac, yep, 11.9 with win-win, being warlord, yeah, uh, yeah. So yeah, let's go back to 700. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, to be honest, either way, we're gonna struggle with it, but it is what it is. The good thing about reaching 35 is that you're done, and then you start focusing on, or most of your resources on research again, which is, to be honest, the biggest, or like one of the biggest aspect. But if you're not spending in the game, or spending a little bit, I think research should be your main focus, is other than headquarter, of course. So okay, before so I wanna go ahead with the agenda for today, but there is a topic that I wanna put in somehow, because every conversation I've had on this server since I've transferred here to 323, and even before I transferred, it was about the same thing. It's like most most players, when they ask a question, they ask about what do I do now, or like what's best to focus on. And the answer is always it depends. But I want to give a better answer by talking about power spikes, if that makes sense. So it depends on where you're at. They're like milestones that you should focus on. Like, for example, what's the milestone for Zuko now? Do you know what Zuko is working on? I actually know. He's just working on the new research. This is what he has been pumping stuff in. And he actually stopped for a while. And the reason he stopped is he got information that they're gonna reduce the cost for that research because it's quite expensive in Valor. So he did it, but like he wasn't all in on it, the tactical weapon. And once he got another piece of information that no, it's not gonna be reduced further, then he started working on it again. What I want to say is here, like, the power spike changes based on who you are, where you are, and stuff like that, and how much you're willing to spend. So I wanted to break these down and kind of talk about them briefly. So what do you think? Start with it or end with it, guys? Okay. So let's start kind of okay. So let's start from the beginning, right? Like not beginning, but like pre-headquarter 30. If you're a player who's like 27, 28, 29, 30, I would say your main priority should always be T10, right? Um, and while you're working on T10, obviously it's special forces. You need to get all these four maxed out. So that's the biggest power spike if you are before headquarter 30. You want to max out the last four items in special forces and get T10 open. The only difference I'd say recently that they have done is now you can have Age of Oil. So if you're actually working on T10, I'd change my advice a little bit, and I would say keep working on T10, but also keep one of your two research centers working on oil, trying to get the third tech center as fast as possible. That way, you can dedicate that third research center to oil only and keep the other two as they were on T10. The reason I'm saying that is headquarter gives a huge buff. I've seen a lot of players staying on 30 because they want to be 30 and beat 31 and beat 32. While I get that, and I've seen that multiple times before when we had the cap at 30, you will fall behind because you're losing on all the bonuses that the headquarter 31 is getting. You're losing on the weapon shards that the trucks or reindeer 31 give you, right? You're losing on the hero levels, and each hero level increases their attack, their HP, their defense, their march size. And by the way, the march size is the biggest factor here. Just increasing the march size of each hero, that means increasing how many soldiers that hero can carry. And that makes a huge difference in morale, it makes a huge difference in each fight. So my advice for people after they get T10 and their headquarter 30, they have all the essentials, is focus on just getting to 31 and then 32 and 33 and that and so on. It doesn't matter if you're 34 and you lost to 33, it's fine, but you will catch up uh, quickly. So I don't know. That's kind of my point of view is you will get more value from focusing on headquarters. I'm not saying just put all in on headquarters and just don't do research. But again, don't abandon completely headquarters and just focus on research. That is what I'm saying. They're both important. So I would run both and try and balance out. Okay. This is when it comes to buildings and research. When it comes to drone, and drone components and combat boost. For the drone itself, I would say the biggest power spike is at those levels are here. So at 110 is the big power spike because it gives you, sorry, at 100 is the big power spike because it gives you plus 5% attack for all the heroes. Your next power spike is 150 because it gives all hero skills damage plus 2. And by the way, this plus 2 skill damage is worth more than the 5% attack. Uh, we'll get into that later. When it comes to components, I'd say the biggest power spike is 8, um, and then later on 9. But 8 is huge because it gives you an extra skill. Before 8, you only have 2 skills. After 8, you have 3. When it comes to combat boost, I'd say if you're a medium power player, you would want to focus on getting the combat boost to 300. That should be also one of your biggest power spike. So 300 here, level 8's all here, and 150 here. These are huge power spikes. If you're close to any of them, just work on that, focus on that. And if you're medium payer or like low payer player or high player, like high paying, just focus on those if you're close to them. When it comes to skill chips, I'll say you need all your 3 squads to be at least at 2 stars because the power spikes are at 2, 5, and 8. So you want all the chips at 2, 2, 2, 2 for your main squad first, and then your second, then your third. And after that, you can go back to your first, get it to 5. Um, so far so good, do you think? So this is when it comes to the drone. What else did I miss in terms of power spike? Yeah, so I went through kind of T10 first, and after, if you don't have T10, then get T10. While straight after, you open your third research center. So you can just dedicate the new research center to oil. to go all the way down to unlock the headquarter expansion to get to 31 to 35, and yeah, and dedicate those two to T10. After that, your main focus should be on drone to get the level to 150, to get the components to 8, to get the combat boost to 300, and the skill chips to 2 stars for all 3 squads, but starting with your first. So kind of, I'd say this is kind of focusing on the core. I will get to why and how and the math of it and examples and reports later on, but like I'm just trying to give a quick overview first. Again, another question or another topic that, oh, why is Becca attacking JMac? Can I get on? Can I get on it? Anyhow, nah. Oh, no. Yeah. So I'd say some action. Yeah. So yeah, true, true. I mean, on 323, it's mostly, to be honest, just friendly fights, so it's pretty cool. So after that, I would say focus on decoration. If you have done all the previous, then focus on decoration. And your main focus should be to get all decorations unlocked. Number one priority. How do you do that? If you're even low spender, you can get it easily. Every decor or decorate your dreams event, you have this choice box that you get at 20 points. To get to 20 points, you can just buy the one for $5 each day. That should be, you buy it 3 times for $15, and one day you would have to buy the second pack, which is for $10 to get 6. So in total, you get 25. So 25 bucks to get to the second chest. And the second chest would give you two things. You give you one of those three, that is choice, and also you get the box. So again, that's another choice. So technically, if you're lucky, you can get 2 new decors or even 3 sometimes each event. So you should focus on getting all of them level 1. Once you've done that, you should focus on getting them again at level 2 and from 2 to level 3. And after that, we'll talk on another workshop. I'll tell you the specific order, but I think it's there either in the first workshop or second workshop on YouTube. You'll find which one I recommend and why, but we'll get through it again in details. So yeah, this is when it comes to the main power spikes initially. After, if you're after that, I'd say Gorilla is your best friend in terms of power spike. I'd say the Gorilla gets its best value at level 2 and then at level 3. After that, it kind of drops down in terms of actual value that you get in return. For skills, that I said that before, but like focus on the golden one first and then the one to its left. And then those two are not very useful because they're attack and he doesn't do much. Another power spike that you get, and this is one of the reasons why I say focus on upgrading headquarters, is the center. The missile center, air center, or air center, they give you a huge buff to each hero. Like for each missile hero, they gain what, 3k HP, 50 attack, and so on defense. So this is huge, and also the march size increases by 3 for each hero. So that's 15 for this whole squad. So this is also a thing that you should never forget about. Let's say you've done all that and you're in the 30, 40 power level. Then your biggest power spikes you'll probably feel from the research. Biggest thing you should focus on research is heroes. Try to max out the heroes, except the defense So the defense is very low value, but like the damage, the attack, the HP are very high value. You should prioritize those and leave defense till the end. Like even here, I maxed this out, this out, this out, and left defense till the end. Um, After you finish your heroes and units and special forces, of course, you've done all the essentials. The biggest mistake I see people doing or players doing, actually I did it myself, was to focus on the masteries. I used to be an air main, so I focused on the aircraft mastery. And afterwards I switched to missiles, so I switched to missile mastery. But when we did the calculations and we've seen the value of defense fortification and siege to seas, they're much better value. In fact, you're kind of getting double the value for kind of the same amount of resources and valor and time you're spending. So I would say always prioritize these over the masteries. And prioritizing defense and siege will give you two advantages. First of all, is you're not going to be tied to one squad that you have spent so much valor on, so you can't swap. When you buff the defense and siege, first of all, you buff all your squads, the 4 squads or 3 squads, and second of all, it gives you the flexibility to switch to whatever main you want in the future. So, but I would just advise to try and balance them out as much as you can, and also try to max out towards the end, towards the bottom, uh, more than towards the top, because it gives you 0.5% at the first level, and then 1% at the second level, and it gives you 1.5% at the third level. So you want to go down to this row, the pre-last or like one before last row, and try and max that out, and then you can work your way up. And the same thing for the attack. And for the ones who don't know what these does, these are buffs for your squad, but they only activate in battle. So even when you finish the research here, you will see that your squad power only increased a little bit. But in actual combat, it increases tremendously. So you can call it hidden power, if you may. So yeah, this is what I'd recommend you do. Let me check if there are some questions in chat here or on YouTube before I go on. Survivors help. Queen, did you just type that or that was, oh, that was earlier? All right, all right, all right. So far so good. Anything you disagree with or you want me to talk about more? Yeah, yeah. There's always next level. You're right. True, true, true. Uh, like I'd say to be honest. So for me, let's say right, like I'm at 52 for my first squad. So what am I focusing on? Maybe that would. So for me, my main focus was on first squad. Sorry, my main focus was on gear at some stage, and I think I reached the stage when okay, I'm satisfied with my first squad gear. Let me show it here on stream. So for me, in terms of gear, I'm done. Okay, these are all maxed out except those 2 guns on the defenders. This is two orbs and this is 3 orbs. I really don't see any value taking them further than this. And I did 2 and 3 here just for testing purposes. I did first 0 and 1 and then did 1 and 2 and then did 2 and 3. I wanted to see if I get value from it. And to be honest, the value I'm getting is very, very low, that I'm actually thinking about switching these 2 guns and giving them to my air squad, which is second squad, because the value I'm getting is very low. But the chips value, for example, is still good. It gave McGregor a decent amount of attack and it gave him a decent amount of resistance. So since he's defender, he can use both. And same for defensive gear on attackers is actually good also. It's good to let Swift survive for longer. It's good to let Tesla survive for longer. But guns on attackers, on defenders is quite a low value. So for me personally, I think around 7.7 to 8 maximum, but I'd say 7.5 million power on gear is more than enough. Maybe even 7 is more than enough. So for me, gear is done. So what am I focused on? I'm focused more on um, skills. I want to max the skills out of Swift, McGregor, and Tesla. I think this would be my next power spike or my next focus is to max them out. So this is what I'm focused on at the moment. The second thing I'm focused on, I'm really not focused on getting drone to 200 because I'm far away from it. Let's say I was 188, then I'd actually recommend you push to 200. So it just depends on where you are in specific things. I think you need to, whenever you're close to a power spike, you need to push or focus on that, on offers, on whatever you buy, or choice boxes that you open. But since I'm far away from it, I'm not focused on it. I'm focused on getting my rocket, which is level 8 to level 9. That's close. I think each choice box gives 2%. And I have 3 choice boxes, so that's 6%. So once I get it close enough, I'll push to 9. So this one I'm focused on. Uh, what else? I'm kind of switching my focus to second squad now. Even though I always said focus on one squad, but until you get it to a decent amount of power, like I don't know, this would sound weird, but like I mean, most of the times I'm fine in terms of first squad. Like it got to enough power now that I don't lose uh, often, or like I lose versus very few players, for example. I'm talking about first squad only. However, I found out, like even I was talking to you, Mog, about it today, that in Desert Storm, I did not lose a single, even though we're against a strong opponent, or like, yeah, of course I can't beat Zuko, I can't beat Merc, but I'm saying like people in my power range, I have no problems beating them. But what I found is a problem is when I send my first squad out, I'm always vulnerable. And I have few examples here that okay, sending first squad is no problem. Like I'm clearing everything out, right? I'm clearing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever squads. But once I send my first squad out, my second and third are weak. They are not strong enough to withhold. Even though my aircraft has good research and good heroes, but my problem with second squad is the gear is bad. It used to be all 10s and level 10s and 20s, but I started working on it 2 weeks ago, and now it's in a little bit better shape. So now I reached my first 240s, 40 on Diva, gun and chip, working my way down to trying to get the main, so 40, 40, 40, and then the defenders to get them to 40, 40 on the defensive gear. So I think once I do that, then my air will be decent, and their skills are okay, I think, for now. So that's my kind of second focus. So just the answer of what to focus on really depends on your power and where you're at. Last thing I'll say before I switch to a different topic is please don't have your goal to have all 3 squads strong unless you're gonna spend a ton of money. If you're gonna spend a lot of money, you don't mind getting exclusive weapons and leveling them hard on all 3 squads, then by all means push 3 squads. But if you can't spend that much, and it's gonna be a lot of money, if you can't spend that much, then focus on having one squad that is very strong. And once it gets to a state when it's strong enough, you're satisfied with it. You win a lot of fights. You win, let's say, 90% of the fights with it. Then start switching to your second. Because again, having 3 squads of 30 means nothing against a guy who's 40 plus million. He will take all of them. And again, let me show some examples. So this is 40 million squad, right? This is my second squad. This guy 30. What did he do? Minus 39 soldiers. Nothing. Next one, minus 0. Nothing. The one after also did, okay, did 500 because he's getting closer. But what I'm saying is 40 can remove multiple 30s. So you would rather have 140 that would damage this squad even if it loses, but like it only leaves 10% left or whatever for your smaller squads to win defense rather than having them evened out but having none of them strong, if that makes sense. So yep, in 3v3 or yep, true, true. And like your main like unless you're a big spender, your bread and butter is first squad. A lot of free to play or very low spenders, friends of mine, when they tell me we're still at tanks and we're almost maxed out on everything in tanks, but we're maxed out on many things, but not mastery tank research. And like, should we put more blueprints into second squad because it's really not decent, or skill chips, skill medals on second squad? I'm like, no. Like, what you're doing is just gonna give you no chance. Your best chance would be to pump everything, unless it's a cheap upgrade. Of course, if it's a cheap upgrade, if you're upgrading from skill level 0 to 10 on your second squad and third squad, by all means do it because it's not doesn't cost you a lot. But don't split your skill medals between all three squads and have a weapon here and a weapon there. Research this a little bit and that a little bit. And you're like a free to play or low spender. Like you're just not gonna be competitive enough. You're not gonna win enough games or matches, and you're gonna feel frustrated because you have spent a lot of time and a lot of effort. So the less resources you have, the more you should pump them into your one squad, whatever it is. And if you've already pumped enough resources into that one squad, don't switch. Okay, just make it stronger and stronger. Because that way, even as a free to play, you will have a chance against spenders to beat them. Because you have a very strong tank squad or a very strong air squad that they can't deal with, instead of like splitting your power evenly. Because I mean, in other games, I guess it works, but in this game, it does not really. So, okay. So I'll go to the agenda now, and I'll talk about the other base foundations that we missed. The previous workshop, which were Alert Tower and Scout Planes, ICU Hospital, and the wall update. Okay, so let me start with the wall update because it's such a easy thing to say. So they have updated the wall for the ones who don't know. They have added this one, these two lines, these last 2 points. Reduce unit losses in drill ground when defense fails, and reduce unit casualty in PvP in general. So this is a great update, to be honest, because before the wall was just useless. It just meant that, okay, once your durability is at 0, you just get teleported. So yeah, of course it's a penalty, but it didn't have any more value. But now at least it does, because upgrading your wall means when you lose defense, you lose less troops. When you play PvP, even if you're the attacker, again you lose less troops. So there's an advantage to raising the wall now, even if it's not required. So I might even, after I get to 35, I'll probably raise that up as well. Um, The second thing is what we were talking about. Okay, so we'll go back to Alert Tower, Scout Plane. Okay, so if you go to Alert Tower and press on Upgrade and press on the eye, you will see what each level will give you. So having Scout um, level 10, for example, you get it when the building is at level 18, and that would let you, when you scout an enemy, you will know where they have reached in terms of tech research, tech power, decoration power, and whatnot. These are all not very important points. You'll start getting important stuff from here. Level 26, you will see how many units they have. 27, you will see details about if they have T10 or T9 or so on. 28, 29, you'll see their hospital capacity. 30, you'll see how many in the hospital. And also, by the way, in unit details, 27 is when you know if they have troops on the wall or not. Okay, Mog, take your time. This is when you see if they have troops on the wall or not. So, for example, my alert tower is at level 29. If I scout somebody, let's see. If I scout somebody, how would I know if they have troops on the wall or not? It's simple. You need two things to know if they have troops on the wall. First of all, if you see a squad here, that's the first point. The second is if they have units. And how would you know if they have units? You'll see a count here, or if you see question marks, you will see what kind of troops. So if he has T10 on the wall and he has a squad on the wall, that means if you attack him, just he's gonna have defenses. And this is kind of useful in VS at times. So you wanna, let's say at times you wanna scout so you don't waste stamina and see if they have troops on the wall or not and how strong their troops are. This is beneficial. Um, there's so the first benefit of raising up your alert tower is to get better scout reports. The second reason why you want to raise it up is because you want to block information. So let's say my alert tower is 29 and Queen's alert tower is 20. Then once I scout her, I'll get all this information. Oh, there's an egg. Okay, it's gone. Anyways, so so if the level of your alert tower and the level of the enemy alert tower, you have 5 levels or above in level differences, then you see everything. If there are 4 levels, then one piece of information you don't see. 3 levels, 2 pieces of information you don't see. If you guys are at the same level, then you actually all the 5 crucial information you don't see. Is that why they have question mark? Yeah, exactly. When I scouted somebody, the reason I get question mark is their alert tower blocked my alert. So, yeah, like I am eligible to get this information. However, since they're high enough, they blocked it. So it's kind of a, yeah, a double-edged upgrade, I guess. So you get more, but you also block more. Um, okay, next, since Mog is back and he's best when it comes to the ICU and the hospital, I'll let you explain that part and also maybe add how to have 60k troops. Sorry if I'm putting you on the spot, Mog. Hello. No. Okay. Hmm. Yeah. Nice. In few hours. Nice. Nice. Yeah, around the same for me. Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. 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 Let me let me say that again. So, guys, so once you heal, so emergency center, right? It takes around 2K for me, same for Mog. So once you get the red heart here, if you press on it, that creates the space again, even though you haven't collected them. You haven't collected them. And kind of the same mechanic works in the hospital. Once you press on heal, however many soldiers you have healed, whether it's 1K or whether it's 10K, that space is created again, even though you haven't collected them and put them in the drill grounds. Once you just press on that, the first click, that creates the space again. So it kind of, if you play that trick, you kind of can double the capacity of the emergency. You can also double the capacity technically of the hospital because you just pressed on heal. If you press on heal, then it creates that space again, or it empties the space for that amount that you pressed. So, yeah, yeah, Uh, Alliance. This. Hold on. Here. This one. Talent Hall. Yeah, hospital. You want me to open one of them? Lawyers. Okay. Uh, Lawyers in Alliance Center, like that. Okay. How do I get that? Here? Okay. So yeah, 20 hours. Yep. 'Yep. Yep. And then you would know once you get full help, they're all gonna be healed. Yeah. And you can always look at how many are online. Like, let's say if you have 40 online, then you can actually depend on 32 to give you help. If you have 30 online, then account for that as well, because mhm. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. It's like it's all about optimization. Like it just even those small bits are what gives you an edge at times, save some soldiers, save the troops, save resources, and so on. Shout out to Chili. Where's Chili? Bring him here. Uh, okay, so there. Let's go. I hope I don't get flagged. Okay, so there was a question from KY Baby X3 in our alliance chat saying, "Do you all stop leveling up the hospitals?" So I don't know if you're on the stream on YouTube or, I think she's listening because she just asked while we were talking about hospitals. So um, before the headquarter expansion, I had all at 24, and the reason I leveled up the hospital, sorry, I had all at 25, and the reason I made them all the same is because it's the same upgrade. So you get 40 extra capacity each level. That was initially. And when we knew that the expansion is coming, of course, now there is kind of requirements to go to that headquarter. You have to level up the hospital. This is why the, the other three are 25 still, but I'm only working on one. But once I'm done with 35, I'm not gonna keep raising my hospital to 35. I'm just gonna make them as equal as possible because it's the same value, but you just pay more at higher levels. So I hope that answered it. Okay. Yep. Yep. Okay. True. True. Okay. Okay. True. Yep. Um, uh, To be honest, I haven't done the math, but I do believe that the research is better because just on top of my head, like just one research increases the capacity of all the hospitals 1%, right? So like 1%, okay, 1%. 1% from my hospital capacity is 10,000. So 1% is 100. One level gives me 40. So it's actually at 25 plus or even 20 plus, you would get more because you're talking here about 85, 255, and 68. Okay, so what were we talking? Hold on. So it's around one, so 400 million in resources for 40, roughly. So here we're talking about 100, and it's way cheaper. Like it's not even close. Like so, 100% it would be, yeah, 100% it would be research the hospital capacity rather than raise the building itself. Yeah, true, true. And is your base how many resources if the research center is empty or working on something crucial? Also, is your base value high enough to get a good percentage of it, or is it low? So you're not gonna get enough. So it's just 100%. It takes time, also. Yeah. But I mean, the building also takes time. True. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we'll get to that point soon as well. Like once we get to headquarters 35, then where are you gonna put a lot of your iron, for example, and a lot of your bread? We're gonna get it to a point when we have more bread and iron than what we need, like how we did before the expansion came. We'll just be short on gold again because of research. So then it might be a time when, okay, I'm not gonna put I'm not gonna waste any gold on researching hospital capacity, and I'd rather get a little bit than get the full value and just go for the building. For example, like it just everything in this game is very situational. This is why like stuff like what we did last stream when we were doing account reviews would be the most beneficial to people, but unfortunately like to players. But like we can't, like this takes time, and like we can't do many of them. Like I think we did one account review, it took over half an hour or maybe 40 minutes. So like we'll do some account reviews for sure for whoever is interested, but it just um, everything in this game is just it depends. That would be the right answer in most situations. I don't know if you saw, like there was a picture sent on Discord of 323 a few days ago, and somebody tagged me and they were like, "Do you agree with this?" And it was a chart of decoration, and it was tier list for like are these the best decoration? These are A, these are B, these are C, and so on. And I just gave an answer and I said it depends. And I'm really not trying to be cheeky or avoid the question because it actually does depend. It depends on the power level of that person. It depends if he's free to play or spender and so on. So in some situations, yes, this tier list would be good, and in others, no, that would not be the best value. And this is, hold on, let me just show you on stream. Yeah, this is the decoration guide. It's actually quite good. It was done by someone on Discord, I think, the official Discord of the game, a player, and it's quite good. It's very organized. Actually, looks like a neat uh, guide. However, again, you can follow this as a general rule. It's not bad at all. I like it. What he chose as S tier is good, A tier is also good, B tier is less, C and so on. But it depends on many factors. It depends on where you are in terms of power. If you're 20 million, I'd probably recommend you focus on HP, for example. And if you're free to play and you're 30 million plus, I'd probably say focus on attack and crit damage, because crit damage is going to give you a quick boost to power. If you're a spender, I would actually recommend you focus on skill damage, because since you're a spender, you're probably going to have higher skill levels, because exclusive weapons let you take the skills over level 30. So then overall the gain you get from skills will be more than from attack. So it depends. This is what I want to get at. All right. So let me go to the next item is a quick, just a very quick 2 minutes for uh, pay to play players and free to play players of just generally what events are good, what are not, and what to focus on. Okay, so let's do the paying players first. So what should you spend your money on? I would say initially, until the gorilla is level 2 or 3, gorilla is very high value. And now they have good charts for him in the total mobilization event. I would say wait for that and buy gorilla stuff from there. Also from the black market, it's quite good. If you want to buy blueprints, mythics, auras, stuff like that, I only recommend one event, which is the bullets one. And the reason I want to recommend this one, I know that the mythics are more expensive here compared to the glittering market, for example. However, you will find that you're always short on auras, always short on blueprints. So getting from this event will give you everything. You get the auras, you get the blueprints, and you'll get the mythics. This is why, in terms of overall value, if you want gear related stuff, I would say get this event. And you don't have to get them all at the same time. For example, I'd always recommend get the pack for $5 every day if you're a spender, even if you're not gonna buy anything. And I usually stack them. So like last two events, for example, I did not buy I did not start rolling at all. I just accumulated the free ones I get from ammo and only the first one here. And then whenever I need to buy it, I'll just go all the way. So I started with like 150 that I already had for cheap from previous events, for example. Glittering Market is good for skill medals. If you are short on skill medals, you don't play enough, you're not very active, you don't do a lot of arms race each day, I try my best to get at least 24. So finish like six, sorry, four at least a day. But most of the days, to be honest, I get all the arms race or I miss one max. So I'd say just if you have the time, focus on finishing as many arms race a day. That would give you enough skill medals. However, if you want to compensate, Glittering Market is the way to get those skill medals. So I would say these are the most you wanna, the main core things you wanna focus on buying. When? No, when did I attack this guy? What? How did that happen and when? Hold on, it's 21. It's oh, okay. Hold on. What? Oh, no, 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 no. That was yeah, that was because this is why I looked at the location because this is where one of the guys from VAM was. He wrote in world chat he wanted to kill some troops. So yeah. Anyways, um, always deny. Okay, so this is the pay to win. This is the main things, and of course we go back to the point I made earlier that decoration is your best friend. First thing you need to do is get all decorations, then try and get them to level 2 and 3, and then we'll talk about where you're at, or in the whenever we're gonna do a decoration part of the stream, uh, we'll talk in details about these things. Like this is the second and last part of the overview in terms of topics. Starting next Friday, next week, we're gonna have each stream dedicated to 2 topics, 3 topics max, so we can go in details about them, whether it's drone, decoration, and whatnot. And of course, before the season starts, we're gonna do a season related stream as well. 1 sec. Getting message here. All right. Okay. So when it comes to free to play, the free to play, I'd just advise that, as I said earlier, focus on one squad. Okay. If you still have your tanks low and air squad low, I'd actually recommend air. They have good weapons overall, quite versatile. However, tank squad is also very good. If you are at tanks, just stay at tanks. What I would not recommend for free to play is missiles. Missiles is the most expensive. Even in terms of research, you'll find that research for missiles is more expensive compared to air or tanks. This is why I would say missiles I would not recommend. Plus, missiles get stronger with weapons, much stronger with weapons. However, it's much weaker without the add-ons. So let's say, so it's weaker when you don't spend on it. Missiles is weaker when you don't spend much on it, and it's way stronger when you do spend on it. So air is kind of medium. Tanks is good even if you don't spend much on it. This is why. So like tanks is Free player friendly. Air is kind of. Missile is a no-go, I would say. Um, and just as a free to play, I would say just focus on the main things. If like focus on getting all the free stuff, like ammo, grind every day, everything. Stuff like um, having, what do you call it here? Um, the ammo bonanza, right? Like make sure you do the alliance donations each day, radar task, train 300 units, and so on. Just get as many check boxes as you can. For low spenders, like even stuff like buy a pack in the store, you can always go for the daily must buy and get the one for this is $1. Just get 2 shards for the hero, right? So you don't have, so there are always ways to not play the system, but like get the max value out of it. And to be honest, the latest update with the glittering market is amazing. So glittering market, you can get 60 glittering coins for 500 diamonds. So this is also great. So you can start for the ammo, you can start tracking up to get blueprints and mythics. And also on glittering market, you can do the same. 60 a day times 5, that's 300. So that's like every single glittering market for a free to play player, you can get a mythic each event. So one mythic. So try to get max value out of it. Try to not to waste your diamonds. So if you're free to play, I would say stay away from the 1 hour speed ups. I'd stay away from 5 minute speed ups. I'd stay away from chest chips, hero XP. I'd just only buy, if I was free to play, I'd buy the 3 hours speed ups, 8 hour, a 3 hour, 8 hour, and the stamina, and that's probably it. So just be careful with your diamonds because they are universal and they help a lot. If you're a low spender, you can just only buy the first pack each day from whatever, right? If you do the glittering market, you'll find the first pack is always so much cheaper. Same thing for the ammo, and so on. So just focus on those. You get the max value you can get for your buck. So this is kind of the quick guide. I'll go through these in details in the future, but for now I think this is good. So now what we have left is the hero and the squads. They're kind of related to each other, and I think this is where most players do a lot of mistakes. And these things that I'm going to talk about now cost no money at all, just about positioning, how to play your troops, how to organize them, and stuff like that. So this is going to cost you nothing at all. We'll start with the biggest like mistake I see in heroes. So let's take, I don't know, air squad as an example. So for attackers, guys, you making the 3 skills even is a big mistake because each hero operates differently. There is always, this game is very unbalanced compared to other games. So raising something up versus raising something else, usually there is a big difference here. For example, the passive skill of D.Va is very low value skill. Even though to upgrade this it takes the same amount of skill medals like this one and this one. So this is why it's important to know which ones to focus on. Initially, I would say for each hero there are 2 good skills and 1 low value skill. For attackers, the upper left and upper right, these are the high value for attackers. So you want to focus on raising these up, and the lower left have it 5 to 10 levels below that. For defenders, it's upper right and lower left, so kind of cross each other. So these are your 2 main skills. The third one is an auto attack skill. Defenders almost do no auto attack damage, so putting points on here is not useless but very low value. So again, I would not put points here unless I got these high enough. For support, which is only one hero in the game, Marshall, I would say it's the same thing. So upper right and lower left, like the defender. So this is how you upgrade your heroes. This is very important to know how to upgrade your heroes. Otherwise, you're kind of getting low value for the skill medals that you grind. So keep that in mind. Um, there's some differences, some exceptions to that rule, but I don't want to go through them now. For example, for Swift, the upper left is higher value than upper right. But again, I don't want to get into details for now. Just focus on top two for attackers and top right, bottom left for defenders. And when we do the hero skills in details, I'll break down each hero and do a guide for that. Next thing, it's about um, squad compositions, right? And I see this even in 3v3. Having a 3-2 squad is a bad idea. Having having a 3-2 squad, just what you do here is you're just losing 10%. Like you're losing 10% of HP, attack, and defense. It's too much. Kinda, if you wanna play hybrid, you always play for one. You play for example, for missiles, one air, that's okay. But there are specific hybrids that are good, specific hybrids that are not that good. Again, we'll go through these in the future. I just want to do an overview now. Just don't do 3-2. Don't put squads of 3 types, please. Even in 3v3, this does not mean you're not gonna get countered because you have all 3 squads types. This means you're gonna lose a lot unless you're much stronger than your opponent. So just play for one or play 5-0, like 5 of the same squad or 4-1 at the max. Okay, this is how you can do best in 3v3. The last, so there's some hybrids that I would recommend. I'll just give you a couple now, since we're at it. For tanks, the number one hybrid squad I'd recommend is the following. I'd recommend putting Lucius with three with 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 Kim and Marshall and Stetman. Okay, so I'd recommend this for tank hybrid, and this is best in tank versus tank meta. Sorry, tank versus tank matchup, because Lucius is the best debuffer when it comes to tanks. So he actually reduces the damage of the tanks to a big extent. So this is why this hybrid is good. For air, um, again, I would recommend. Sorry, not for air. For missiles, not for missiles. For air, sorry, I would recommend this hybrid. So I'd recommend McGregor with Lucius and your 3 main attackers. Okay, so this is what I'd recommend for. Oh my God, this is what I'd recommend for missiles. For air, I would recommend McGregor, Lucius, and then you have your 3 attackers. Okay, so kind of I gave you 3 hybrids. Again, we'll go through these in details in future streams or workshops, and we'll talk about why and which situations are best. Again, this hybrid is good for air versus air.